Small daily changes after 60 that may help support stroke health. You wake up in the morning. You slept long enough. But when you put your feet on the floor, your legs feel heavy. Not painful. Just slow. You stand up, and for a brief moment, the room doesn't feel quite steady. Nothing dramatic. Just enough to make you pause. Many older adults don't realize this, but moments like these aren't random. And they're not simply getting older. After 60, your body doesn't break. It changes how it reacts, especially how blood moves and adjusts on its way to your brain. Over the years, I've noticed the same quiet pattern in people who thought they were doing fine. They ate reasonably well. They stayed active. They followed habits that once worked, but their body had changed how it responds. This isn't about fear. It's about understanding. Serious brain events after 60 rarely come from one big mistake. They tend to build quietly, through small daily habits, the kind you repeat without giving them much thought. In this video, I'll walk you through 5 small daily changes. Nothing extreme. Nothing trendy. Just simple adjustments that research has linked to better support for circulation and brain stability after 60. No miracle promises. No scare tactics. Just clear explanations and ideas you can consider at your own pace. If any of this feels familiar, the heavy legs, the slight unsteadiness, the mornings that don't feel as refreshed as they used to, you may want to stay for the next few minutes. The last change, in particular, is often the simplest and also the most overlooked. Small change. Number 5. Pause before you stand. Paul is 73. He lives on his own and keeps a simple routine. Most mornings feel fine. But almost every day, when he stands up from bed or from the couch, his legs feel slightly numb. Sometimes the floor feels a little unsteady just for a second. Nothing dramatic, just enough to make him pause and think, that felt different. Like many people his age, Paul used to brush it off. He assumed he was just moving too quickly. Or that this was simply part of getting older. What's actually happening inside the body is less about age and more about timing. After 60, the blood vessels that help regulate pressure don't always adjust as quickly as they once did. When you stand up, gravity pulls blood toward your legs. In earlier years, the body tightened vessels fast enough to keep blood flowing smoothly to the brain. Later in life, that adjustment can take a few extra seconds. Long-term research on adults over 60, including work referenced by the National Institutes of Health, has found that brief pauses before standing can help the body stabilize blood pressure and support more consistent blood flow to the brain. In simple terms, this means nothing is wrong. Your body just needs a moment longer to respond. Paul didn't change his schedule. He didn't add exercises. He made one small adjustment. When he wakes up, or when he stands from a chair, he places both feet flat on the floor. He pauses for 5 seconds, takes one slow breath, then stands. That short pause gives his blood vessels a better chance to respond. For many people, it may help reduce that brief lightheaded feeling, the numbness in the legs, or the slight loss of balance that can happen after standing. This isn't about slowing your life down. It's about giving your body the timing it now needs. If you've noticed mornings feeling harder than they used to, the next small change may help explain why. Small change number 4. Drink water before anything else. Diane is 68. She sleeps through the night. She wakes up without pain. But most mornings, she doesn't feel ready. Her body feels slow. Her head feels a little heavy. Not dizzy, just not clear. She sits at the kitchen table, turns on the light, and reaches for her coffee. That's been her habit for years. Diane never thought water had anything to do with how her mornings felt. She wasn't thirsty, so she assumed her body already had what it needed. What many people don't realize is that after 60, the body doesn't signal thirst as clearly as it once did. Overnight, you naturally lose fluid through breathing and subtle sweating, even when you sleep well. By morning, circulation can be a little less efficient than usual. When fluid moves less easily through the bloodstream, the smaller vessels that supply the brain don't get support as smoothly. That can show up as morning fatigue, a heavy feeling in the head, or the sense that it takes longer to get going. Long-term research on adults over 60, including work referenced by the National Institutes of Health, has linked mild morning dehydration to less efficient circulation early in the day and slower mental alertness. In simple terms, this means your morning fog isn't always about sleep. Sometimes it's about timing. Diane didn't change her entire routine. She made one small adjustment. Within the first 15 minutes of waking up, she drinks one full glass of room temperature water. Before coffee, before the day begins. That simple step gives the body a better chance to move fluid more easily through the bloodstream and support steadier circulation to the brain. For many older adults, it may help mornings feel a bit clearer and steadier without adding anything complicated. This isn't about forcing yourself to drink all day. It's about starting the morning with a small signal of support. If mornings tend to feel slower than they used to, the next small change may help you understand why at your own pace. Small change. Number 3, sleep with your head slightly elevated. Mark is 75. He goes to bed around the same time most nights. The house is quiet. The lights are off. He sleeps for 7, sometimes 8 hours. But when morning comes, his head feels heavy. Not painful, just dull, like the day takes longer to come into focus. For a long time, Mark assumed this was simply part of aging. He wasn't waking up uncomfortable. He wasn't short of breath. So he figured his sleep was doing its job. What many people don't realize is that changes in circulation don't stop once you fall asleep, especially after 60. They continue quietly through the night. When you lie completely flat for several hours, blood and fluid can shift in ways the body used to handle more easily. Earlier in life, those adjustments happened without much effort. Later on, they can become a little less efficient, particularly overnight. Research on sleep and circulation in adults over 60, including work referenced by the National Institutes of Health, has shown that gentle head elevation during sleep can support more comfortable movement of blood and fluid through the body while you rest. In simple terms, this means the position you sleep in can influence how your morning feels, even when you're getting enough hours. Mark didn't change his bedtime. He didn't buy special equipment. He made one small adjustment. At night, he sleeps with his head slightly elevated, just a little higher than his heart. One extra pillow. Nothing dramatic. That small change helps the body move blood and fluid a bit more comfortably while you sleep. For many older adults, it may help mornings feel a bit lighter, with less heaviness in the head and a smoother start to the day. This isn't about sleeping upright. It's about gentle support. If mornings still feel heavier than they should, even after a full night's sleep, the next small change may help explain why if you choose to keep watching. Small change. Number 2. Break up long sitting with gentle movement. Nancy is 70. She lives independently and keeps herself busy. She walks most mornings. She runs her errands. By the afternoon, she feels she's earned a quiet break. So she sits. She watches the news. She reads. Sometimes an hour passes. Sometimes 2. When Nancy stands up, she notices it. Her legs feel stiff. Her first few steps feel uncertain, not painful, just not steady. Once she gets moving, the feeling fades. For a long time, Nancy didn't connect this to sitting. After all, she does exercise. She assumed balance was something you either had or didn't. What many people don't realize is that after 60, long stretches of sitting can quietly affect circulation and the signals between muscles and nerves. When you stay seated, blood tends to linger more in the legs, and the muscles that help move it upward stay inactive longer than they used to. Earlier in life, the body adjusted quickly. Later on, those adjustments can take a little more time, especially when you stand after sitting still. Long-term research on adults over 60, including work referenced by the National Institutes of Health, has linked long periods of sitting with slower circulation responses and less steady movement when standing. In simple terms, this means it's not sitting itself that matters most. It's sitting too long without interruption. Nancy didn't add workouts. She didn't change her schedule. She made one small adjustment. every 30 to 60 minutes. She stands up. She walks a few steps. She gently stretches her legs or rolls her shoulders for about half a minute. Then she sits back down. Those short breaks help wake up the muscles that support blood flow and balance. For many older adults, this may help standing feel steadier and reduce that brief moment of uncertainty when getting up. This isn't about staying active all day. It's about reminding your body to stay responsive. If moments like this sound familiar, the final small change may help you make sense of them if you decide to keep watching. Small change. Number 1. Slow your breathing when you feel rushed. Kevin is 66. He doesn't feel anxious. He wouldn't describe himself as stressed. But there are moments in his day when everything feels slightly rushed. Standing by the door, looking for his keys. Walking from one room to another. Trying to finish something before the phone rings. Nothing dramatic. Just a quiet sense of hurry. Kevin never thought his breathing had anything to do with how steady he felt. He wasn't panicking. He was simply moving through his day. What many people don't realize is that after 60, the nervous system becomes more sensitive to pace. When you rush, even a little breathing often turns shorter and quicker without you noticing. That change sends a quiet signal through the body. Blood vessels tighten slightly. Heart rhythm shifts a bit. For a moment, balance and circulation can feel less steady. Research on aging and the nervous system, including work referenced by the National Institutes of Health, has found that slower, steadier breathing can support how the nervous system responds during everyday moments, especially after 60. In simple terms, this means how you breathe can influence how stable your body feels, even when nothing else seems wrong. Kevin didn't change his routine. He didn't add exercises. He made one small adjustment. Whenever he notices that sense of hurry before standing up, before walking across the room, before stepping outside, he slows his breath. He inhales gently for 4 seconds, then exhales for 6. He repeats that 3 times. Those few breaths may help send a calmer signal through the nervous system. For many older adults, this can support smoother movement and a steadier feeling without effort or equipment. This isn't about relaxation techniques. It's about timing. When you look back at all 5 small changes, a simple pattern appears. Your body isn't failing you. It's adapting and asking for slightly different signals than it used to. You don't need to do all 5. Even one is enough to start noticing how your body responds. If one of these ideas felt useful, you might keep it in mind over the next few days and simply notice what changes, if anything. And if conversations like this feel helpful to you, you're always welcome to come back and listen again. Thank you for spending this time with me.